Central to the work we do in terms of helping people heal trauma and find meaning in their suffering is working with what we call non-ordinary states of consciousness. Now, there are different methods of entering these, so what some call altered states. I don't like the term altered states. I call them non-ordinary states of consciousness or shamanic states of consciousness. So we can enter those states through drumming, chanting, and rattling, trance dancing, fasting, breath work is very powerful and potent in this regard. And actually, Stan Grof went on to develop holotropic breath work from his work with psychedelics when they became illegal in the 1970s and 80s. It was a very powerful method, which I'll talk a little bit more later. Extremes of temperature, like sweat lodges, near-death experiences. People sometimes have a spontaneous out-of-body experience or near-death experience that can be quite shocking and frightening for them, because they realize at that point that they actually are more than the physical bodies, and they know that their etheric body connects to the luminous body and then to the spark or diamond soul spark, and they can see themselves from that perspective. Very well illustrated in Alex Gray's painting here called Theologue, shows us that we're multidimensional beings. And when we get into that state, it can be shocking and frightening, essentially, if we're new to it. But once we get used to it, it can be very healing and therapeutic. Sacred plants, of course, have been used by shamans around the world for tens of thousands of years. You know, ibogaine, peyote, San Pedro, ayahuasca, psilocybin mushrooms, datura, belladonna. All these different sacred plants were used by shamanic peoples all over the world to get into these shamanic states of consciousness, explore the realms beyond ordinary reality, and come back from those realms knowing that they were more than their physical bodies, and therefore having deeper therapeutic effects on their psyche.